Here now, Jonathan Gilliam. He's a former FBI agent and U.S. Navy SEAL. So there's a little confusion now. What do you think's happening tactically?
Well, I think it's hurry up and pause is what you will see right here at this point, is that because darkness is there, darkness is their friend now. And also the extent of time that's passed since the actual attack occurred yesterday. This individual, if he is in that house, he could have food in there, which gives him food, but he's not going to be able to rest. And so they have time on their hands if he is in the house. But earlier, as you all were talking about, it's important for them not to solely focus on this house, because that's how individuals end up getting away. But Jesse, can I just say one thing about what Dana was saying there that's very, very important, is that every day in this country, people they interact with law enforcement on a violent scale, but not violent enough to where they are arrested. Law enforcement will allow them to go. And who they are and what they have done and their behavior that is displayed is never charted. And a lot of these individuals are repeat offenders at that level over and over and over again. When you take that type of an individual that is not charted, you throw in their mental health, and people don't take the mental health seriously, what you're seeing is, in all of these people who do mass shootings, this is a characteristic that is over and over and over again displayed to law enforcement, but none of that information is ever collected. And what I would like to see is a database that when police officers interact with people, just like you would do on your phone when you get a little questionnaire, and you just put in there the basic behaviors of this individual, if there's mental issues.
Yeah, you got to start tabulating some of this intelligence on these people, because you can't just let it fly by. It looks like we're seeing a lot of the vehicles depart the residence. I saw about a dozen vehicles, some armored, some regular squad cars, leaving this guy's residence. That tells me there is no one there. Maybe the search is over. Maybe they went in, we didn't see it. Again, that's right on top of the hill, so it's very hard to tell exactly what went down on the property. But again, these are a lot of vehicles leaving the house that is owned by this suspect. So
they may have made entry and there's nothing there. There's also during the initial sound that goes out or call that goes out that there may be someone in the house, you're going to see a tremendous amount of law enforcement come to that location. But after a period of time, that is wasted manpower that could be out searching. So it could be a combination of either one of those things.
Yeah, because we heard, I think before, is one of these towns only has 17 officers. And this is a very, very low-density state. I mean, it's very, very low population, and the population is all along the coast. And once you get north, once you get west, it's all woods.
Right, and one of the things that nobody's talking about is how long it took to get the law enforcement presence going. I mean, there was a lot of time between the initial attack, the second attack, and then when the call went out to the locals to shelter in place. We're talking about over an hour. So that shows you the size of law enforcement in that area. It's not big. So when they responded, I don't know how many officers they had there. They may not have had enough to go to both places. And once they get tied into that investigation, it gives that individual more time to flee. But one thing I do want to say about this type of individual is that almost 100% of the time, there's only two outcomes. They're either psychopathic and they want to be caught because they want the fame, or they are a suicidal person or some kind of psychopath that wants to die. And so they end up killing themselves. Chances are this individual could be dead somewhere, and we don't know that. But again, they can't act on that. They have to act on the fact that he's still a threat.
Wow, he could be dead somewhere. I never even considered that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We got to run. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
You got it, Jesse.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.